Hello, everyone. There's a very strong light on my face. I cannot see all of you. Can you wave your hands for me so I know you are alive? I know you are not dying from hunger. I know there's lunch, but I'm very hopeful you'll enjoy this talk and forget about the lunch. So let's start. I'll start this talk by asking two questions to all of you. Just raise your hands if you have ever uh, built a scraper that worked perfectly. If you have ever built a web scraper, for those who don't know, web scraper is a tool, is a coding program that scrapes data from internet and convert it into a readable format. Anyone have built here a scraper? No one? Yeah, many of us. Okay. So when you built a scraper, how long it worked perfectly, and when it broke, did it broke in few days without changing anything yet? Yeah, it happens, and that's the kind of the motto of this talk. We'll talk about this problem, but before starting, Laba Diana, good afternoon and namaste. I'm Saurav, Senior Developer Community Manager at Apify, and this talk is going to be on the same note. All of us are Python developers, I hope. There are no imposters here. And we all design APIs and scrapers that depends majorly on data that we don't control, and that is open web. Uh, and so how we can make sure that we build something that works. Uh, a very quick intro. I work at Abify, and we are a platform for which runs thousands and thousands of web scrapers and software at scale. We call them actors, and you can think of them as a little program that go to website, extract data, and produces some clean data sets for you. We have thousands of them running for our customers all the time. So we do this at scale. And what I'm going to share today is the learnings that we have from our engineering team. So yeah, what is this talk about? The key idea is very simple. If anyone or anything depends on your data that your scraper produces, that your software produces, you need to think careful about what data looks like, what's guaranteed, and what happens when things go wrong. That's what this talk is about. And but the reality that we have to face is the very moment someone else, whether it's a colleague, a machine learning model, or an executive looking at the dashboard, uses the output of your scraper, you have effectively published an API. It's not just a scraper anymore, or you are not no longer just writing a script. You are being a data provider here. So this is very simple. Like you write a scraper, it produces some data, and someone uses it. The someone could be a dashboard, a automated report, your colleague, a database, or you from future you, and 2 a.m. in the night, regretting your past decision that you made a few hours before, struggling with the debugging of the code. But yes, this is a reality. When you have a proper API, there's a kind of agreement between you and your provider. They promise that they will keep things stable, and whenever there will be a change, you will be told about that. But websites, they make no such promises. At Abify, we monitor thousands of websites regularly, and our research shows that all of the popular websites changes their structures every 2 to 4 weeks on an average. Sometimes this is very small change, like a CSS selector change, or sometimes they just redesign the whole product page. So now think about it at scale. Over 40% of world's valuable business data, uh, pricing, reviews, social sentiment, lives only on web, not in any clean API. So you have to reliable on these websites. So imagine we are building this massive multi-billion-dollar industry on the top of a moving sand. So let's figure out on how we can make it better and how we do it at Abify. So there's a few differences if you compare API with open web. There is no documentation, no versioning. The changes are very silent, so nobody will inform you, and suddenly overnight your website is changed. The format is not consistent, and sometimes error looks like success. So I'm going to explain each one of these things in coming slides. uh, so this talk is also going to be about the mental shift that you need to bring when you are building these scrapers or APIs for data that you don't control. So let's see how you think when you are going to build a scraper. So normally you will think that does this you'll see some thing that you need to scrape, and you will figure out does it work right now. But the better way of thinking in this is, might be like what happened when it breaks. So how you are going to handle that, what is the mechanism going to be. uh, I got the data, but is data in the right shape for your consumers? Is it in the right format that you wanted, or is just a unstructured data that you got? It's just a script, but somebody depends on it, and I already explained who can be somebody or someone, and I will fix it when it breaks. But will you know that it is break already? Is it broken? So let's see how we will figure out all of these things. And I want to highlight like one single most dangerous thing here. That worst thing is might not be crash of the whole scraper or the whole thing. It might be the silent data problem. So yeah, a crash is actually still okay because crash is loud. You will trigger an error log, or you will be getting a Slack alert, and you will go for a fix. So it's okay. It's still manageable. But when you have this silent data problem, imagine you are running a price monitoring scraper for a major retailer. The website changes its layout, and your scraper doesn't crash, but it just failed to find the price element and returns none. So suddenly you have a lot of none or zero or garbage value inside your database, and you are monitoring the price, and your price is getting filled with the garbage value. So whenever someone will look at the data 7 days after for this price monitoring this period, they will find a lot of garbage value or a lot of false data, and you cannot go back to the again in back in time. So sometimes it's very important that we manage this failure more than a crash. So website quietly changes, and scraper does not crash, returns this data, false data, and then we have corrupt data in the database, and decision are made for weeks for this. So we have to figure out how to do this, and I'll now list few things that how we can manage all of this thing. So the first thing is define the shape of your data before you scrape. So most of the people start scraping by opening a browser, finding a CSS selector, and then throwing whatever they found in a Python dictionary. I don't think that's the best thing to do because I'll explain how. But you should even start in a Python ID by defining your data model first. So maybe use Python data class, or preferably maybe Pydantic. So define which fields are required, like which fields you will require all the time, and if they are not there, it will be a problem for whole workflow. For example, in this example, I'll say title, URL, and in stock might be uh, the required data for your scraper or your API, that you need it, and without it you cannot work. It's not optional. And then you have some things that can be optional. For example, the price sometimes can be optional because price can be contact us for pricing or something like this. Then rating can be optional. Maybe some product doesn't have any rating at all. Then review count can be again optional. But without this, even if your scraper is not able to get this data, it won't fail the whole thing. So yeah, things like this. So this code will act as a contract to your users. At Appify, when we have these actors, we also have an output schema in all of our actors, which is mandatory. So this output schema actually tells all of the actor users that this is the structure of the data that you are going to get in the end. And even if some fields are optional or missing, but this is the structure. So your users can easily integrate that data inside their workflows, or they know what to expect in a structural way. So this act as a contract, like a API contract whenever you are creating it. So they will have some required fields, but when you don't have required fields, your scraper should fail, and it should give you alert, it should give you warning, because without those fields it is not working. But for the other one, it can have none value as the optional. One more thing that becomes a problem is I don't know is not equal to no. So this is a like very small thing, but becomes a big problem. So let's say you are scraping job listing to see if they are remote friendly or not, and if the job page doesn't mention location at all, do you set is remote equal to false? Will you set equals to false or not? But false is a very definitive statement. It exactly means that it is this job is not remote at all. But we didn't see it there because there is no mention of the remote option, either it is remote or not. So this is called three valued logic, and it should return none when there is no mention of the remote work there, because we don't know that it is remote or not. So this is three valued logic. So none is equals to that we don't know the information is not on present on the page, while true and false can be verified information. That for true we definitely know that this job is remote, for false we definitely know that this job is not remote. So yeah, this is one of the important things. And then parse carefully, don't crash. It can sometimes web can be a disaster zone for formatting. So on the same website you might see price formatted as $1 comma 200. Some people some regions use comma. Some regions it can be from $20 without any decimal, and then it can be euro 45 decimal 00. So or even call for price. So a same website can have different kind of things. So if you can see the top if you can see the top one, it has three chains in itself: find, text dot strip dot float. So this is very crazy, because we have put everything in one line, and if if one element is missing, the it crashes on .txt. If there is a comma, it will crash on the float. So we are not handling any of the mistake that is coming up. So the better way is the bottom one, which I have written. It is it checks the if the element exists first or not, and if it exists, then it will use some regular expressions to clean the text properly. And it uses decimal for money, because all of us, I mean, from Python knows that if we do zero point 0.1 plus zero point 0.2 in float, it will not come equal to zero point 0.3 but 0.300004 something like this, which is a nightmare, which can be very important in many software. So yeah, and most importantly, if it failed to pass, it logged the exact raw text that caused the failure. So when you're debugging at 2 a.m. in the night, again frustrated, you'll know that what caused the error, and it will be a quick fix rather than a whole investigation. So yeah, basically check the if the element exists before using it, and clean the text before converting it. And if you cannot pass it, return none, don't crash, and log whatever went wrong, so you can investigate later. Then automatic validation using pydantic. I mean, pydantic can be very useful here, because you can define your data shape once, add some validation rules, and every time you create a product, for example, it checks everything for you. If the title is empty, it will throw an error. If the rating is 47, which should be 0 to 5, it will give an error. Price came back as a string, it will try to convert into convert it, but if it cannot, it will give you a clear error message. So you write some rules once, and then you can rely on it that it will validate your data for you, and it will tell you whenever things are going wrong. So when things break, say why. So I also would like to explain this, that we need to accept that whenever you are working with a web, failure is inevitable. It's gonna happen, but not all failures are equal. So if you get a 429 too many requests or a captcha error, it can be a temporary error, because your system should wait, just swap proxies or retry after a minute, and it can work. But if the imagine if the website had completely redesigned their product page, and there are new CSS selector, there new structure of the HTML, even after trying 1,000 times, it won't work, because the whole website have changed. So different errors have different meanings, and you need to log all of them differently. So this is website change error. So by identifying which error is happening in the code, and you can perform some specific actions on it. So your code will know that if it's just a temporary error, you will retry or swap proxies and it will work. But if it's a website change error, it needs to tell the human in the logs that yeah, it's not working, it's we need to change this. So this comes quite handy when you are building some scraper. And then safe versus breaking changes. So think about it from some other person perspective. They write code on the data that you provide, or so whenever you will add a new optional field, it's pretty okay, because that new optional field is not affecting the current code, current data that you are providing, so it's okay. But imagine you rename the some specific field from seller to vendor, it will start breaking out their code, because they have used the seller name everywhere inside their code. So that's not recommended. And if you change the pricing, like if you change the type of the data from string to maybe a number, and that will also start breaking their system inside. So anything like these changes are needs communication and coordination. So adding optional field, do it. Anything else, talk to the people that using your data first. In the last, like I would like to mention that this is probably like most important thing, that even if you do everything right, you still have to monitor the quality of the data that your scraper is producing. So if 90% of the products have normally a price, and suddenly one Tuesday you are getting 40% of the 40% of the products have just price on through your scraper didn't crash, it is still working, but the website have changed something specifically. So you need to monitor your data, monitor your scraper outputs constantly, in order to make sure that it is working the way you expected. So yeah, this is one thing. And the last thing, yeah, we have so at Appify we do a lot of web scraping, we do a lot of software development. We also have Appify Discord, where we have more than 15,000 developers now. They all are doing like freelancing jobs there, they help each other, they build great actors on our platform. So if you want to learn more about it, we also do some webinars and office hours there. You can join it if you want to join a community of web developers. Also, if you are a developer and you build softwares and you want to monetize your skills, we have Appify Store, which is we get 150,000 monthly new signups here. There are more than 20,000 such tools that I was just talking about, and we have more than 30,000 paying customers every month on this. So there's a huge customer base that we have, and a lot of developers all around the world build these tools. They decide a price tag on the top of these tools and publish it on our platform. And all of these users look out for these solutions all the time. And if you have a unique solution, if you are providing some value to them, they will come to you, they will pay the price that you decided. 20% goes to Avify, 80% goes to developer. And last month we paid $1.1 million to our developer community all around the world. This is the first time we crossed the 1 million mark. I remember like 2 years ago when I joined, it was nearly $50,000, and now we are paying out $1 million already. So it's very interesting. The market is growing. Many people are earning more than $50,000 every month now. So if you want, you can join us at Appify booth, and we can have a chat about it. And if you want to try one of the tools just to see how the platform works and how the scrapers at Appify works, you can use this QR code or the coupon code PYLT, and it will give you $100 of free usage. And in the last, yeah, don't forget about AirPods giveaway at Abify booth, and I'll see you there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.